Willkommen. My name is Sean Huggins. I'm an American living in Germany, and on this channel, I'm looking to learn all about life in Germany and Europe in general through watching silly videos and stuff on the internet with you guys. So if you enjoy, consider subscribing. We got new videos every single day, and today's comment of the day comes from Blonde Katze 3547. And they say, funny video. Thank you, Blonde Katze, for the nice comment. I appreciate the kind words, as always. And let's get into today's reaction. So I am living in Germany now for almost 2 years. This video comes from another American living in Germany, and it's titled, 5 Negative Ways Living in Germany Changed Me as an American. I have had a lot of negative experiences in Germany, a lot of bad days, a lot of bad moments, but I don't know if I would say that I was negatively changed in any way from living in Germany. At least not that I can think of, but I don't know. So I'm going to see what this lady has to say. Maybe I have been negatively changed by living in Germany and I don't even realize it. I don't know. Let's find out together. Los geht's.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I recently did a video about the positive ways that Germany has affected me since I've been living here. I have been living here for 5 years now, since 2018. I also lived here once before in 2015, and I thought today it would be fun to talk about the negative ways that I feel that Germany has affected me since I've been here.
Let's see.
So let's get started. Number 1 is that my English has definitely gotten worse. I've definitely joked about this in past videos.
Actually, this has happened to me. This is actually true. Like, I very often find myself using much more basic English than what I am used to because I'm not dealing with native speakers. And when you do that enough for years at a time, eventually you just kind of fall into a habit of defaulting to the more basic version, I guess. And yeah, I feel like there's times when I don't feel as sharp or as quick with my English language skills as I once used to be. But anyway, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. That's a good one.
And it's not a joke. It's real. The combination of trying to learn a new language and living in a different country and talking primarily to people in English or German, but to people that are not native English speakers, or a lot of my friends that are native English speakers are from the UK, New Zealand, different countries that I'm not from, so they also have different accents.
Yeah, by the way, this was also a thing for Isa, my German fiance. She lived in America for 2 years, and when she came back to Germany, she actually kind of forgot a lot of German, to be honest. Like, this is not just a thing with Americans moving to Germany. This is anybody, really. I mean, if you're not speaking a language, then it kind of slowly deteriorates, and yeah, that's definitely a thing.
It's definitely made my English worse. I mess up my sentences a lot. Sometimes I forget to put articles in sentences. Sometimes I switch the order of a sentence, or I leave out like small words because I'm used to hearing it like that quite often. And I also notice sometimes that I'll realize I'm doing it, but I do it anyways because
the other
that's
person
how people
understands
speak here,
it better.
and so I want to make sure that they understand me.
Yep.
However,
dude,
I try to actively break that and not do it, but of course it carries over even when I go home. My friends are always making fun of me at home about how I talk because sometimes it sounds robotic or funny. Number 2 is I am definitely more introverted. I was always an extreme extrovert growing up. Especially as like a teenager, and whenever I took those like Myers-Briggs tests, it was always like, everything else was like in the middle or somewhat, but extrovert was always like on one side. And
interesting.
Maybe it seems like I'm very extroverted, which I am, but I'm definitely more introverted since I've lived here, and I think it's definitely a cultural thing. Germany is a more introverted country in total. More people are introverts here. And so
really? All right.
I think that it makes me less outgoing in scenarios here where in the States, if I was out and I liked the way the dress someone was wearing, I'd be like, hey, I love your dress, or hi, what's going on? Or coming to a party and just starting to chat with new people and being really open.
Sounds like my nightmare. Dude, I don't know. I can't relate to this at all. I've been introverted my whole life. In America, in Germany, doesn't matter. I've always been super, super introverted. So I don't know. Maybe that's just because I've been introverted my whole life, but I don't know what's going on with this one.
Open, and here I feel way less apt to do that. And I don't think that I know that it's not because I'm not at home, because I've been to other countries and other places where that's absolutely not the case. And I notice that when I go in those situations, I already instantly open up more. But here in total, I feel more introverted. And I think that's because that is how the culture is here. It is more introverted.
Okay, cool.
Number 3 is being less flexible than I used to be. I think being here, it's a very bureaucratic country. There's paperwork for everything. Everything has to be done a certain way.
Definitely.
I've experienced that it's really hard to find a way around that, whereas in the States, there's also paperwork, but if you kind of know someone, then there's a way around it. And I think that here, there's a much more order to the way that you do things. I also think about that in terms of like, if you want to start a side hustle or a business, there's so much paperwork involved and so many rules, where I think it's way more flexible to do that in the US. And that's...
Well, you got to do paperwork and do a bunch of stuff to start a business or a side hustle in America too. I don't know about this one. Let's continue.
Feel less creative and less open to try different ventures of different kind, because I think, I would have to deal with all of this bureaucracy that I don't want to deal with.
Okay, so this one is basically, she feels less flexible because of the bureaucracy in Germany. It doesn't allow her to do the things that she wants to do as easily as she would like to do them. That makes sense. The German bureaucracy can sometimes be very hard to deal with, but yeah, I don't know. I've talked about this a lot. There's a lot of bureaucracy in America too. It's just maybe not quite as much, obviously, but it's still something that you have to deal with in America as well. So I don't think it's like leaps and bounds worse in Germany by any means. So I don't know. I wasn't really negatively affected by this one, I would say, even though I have quite a few negative experiences with German bureaucracy. I wouldn't say that personally has negatively changed me or in any way. So for me, this one, I wouldn't say applies to me either.
Also experienced it in like a mindset thing that I don't want to go out of my box and do different things, because I feel like it wouldn't be accepted here if I do it the way that I would want to do it.
Okay.
And number 4 is what I call the blues. I
Homesick?
get the blues here quite often, and what I mean by that, if you
Depressed?
don't know,
Depression?
The blues means like I get sad and I get lonely feeling quite a bit more often.
You're looking for depression. That's the word you're looking for.
Every expat experiences that, but of course it stems from missing my friends, missing my family back home.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit of culture shock. It all sometimes makes you feel sad. Of course, the weather, there's times of the year when it's cold and stuff that it hits you even harder. But I definitely feel like I'm not, that I have the blues more than I did not living here.
I think you're looking for seasonal depression. I mean, I miss my family and friends too, but, I mean, I miss my family and friends too, obviously. I've talked about this on my vlog channel. You can check that out, linked down below if you'd like, but you know what you're signing up for when you move to a foreign country. So yeah, it sucks, but yeah, I don't know. It just is what it is, I guess.
And number 5 is always feeling like a foreigner. I always feel like an outsider here. It doesn't matter how long that I've lived here. And I would like to think if my German gets even better, perhaps that's not the case. I feel more comfortable living here than I used to, but I don't know if that feeling will ever go away, because it is a different country, because it is a different culture. I feel like the second that I speak out loud to someone, and this might be something I'm projecting inside, there's definitely experiences with people where I know I'm not the one projecting it, but I think because of those experiences, I also project it in situations where it's maybe not the case. But I feel like I am always going to be the foreigner. The second that someone hears me talk, they know that I'm not from here, and I feel like I'm looked at or treated differently. And I feel lucky because I know I'm a foreigner from a country where I think I at least am treated better than definitely other people are treated here. So I'm aware of that, but I still feel like I will always be a foreigner living here.
Well, I can actually agree with this one. It definitely doesn't apply to my friends and family that I have here in Germany. I feel very welcomed with my friends and family here in Germany. But in general, there are a lot of people that just kind of treat you different as soon as they hear you speak not perfect German. They know that you're not from Germany, and then you just kind of get treated a little bit different. Doesn't mean it's always super bad or super negative, but you just kind of are treated a little bit different. Sometimes it is bad, sometimes it's not so bad, but it's just different, and you can definitely feel that. That's not everybody in Germany. That's not even, like I said, always a negative thing, but it is definitely a thing. But this also goes back to, like, you kind of have to know what you're signing up for when you move here, because we are foreigners. So it sucks that we get treated differently sometimes because of that, but we are foreigners. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. You just kind of have to learn to deal with it, I guess. I don't know. But it definitely is a thing. I'll agree with her on this one. I'll agree with her on this one as well. Whew, well, that's a pretty good list, I think. I don't agree with all of them, but some of them. Forgetting English or your English slowly sort of deteriorating, that is definitely a thing in my case. Obviously, missing my friends and family is a thing, but I wouldn't really count that as something that Germany negatively changed me from, because I knew what I was getting into when I signed up to move here. Same thing with being a foreigner. I mean, this happens in every country. Foreigners are just treated different by a certain demographic of people in every single country. You know, it's stuff like that's going to happen, and it sucks, but it is what it is. Luckily, most of the interactions that I personally have with Germans are either just neutral or positive. So, you know, it's not so bad. But when you do have one of those negative experiences where you're treated poorly because you are obviously a foreigner, those definitely do have a bigger impact than, say, being treated just averagely as a foreigner. I don't know why, but you remember those overtly negative moments much more than just being treated normal. You know what I mean? But at any rate, though, I'd love to hear from the experts. What do you guys think of this list? What do you guys think of my input on it? Let me know in the comments down below. That's all the time that I have for today, though. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing. We got new videos every single day. Check the links in the description for all of my other social media, including my vlog channel. Thank you guys so much for being here, and as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.